But I know this, marketing ain't worth a damn if you can't do the work. And if you can do the work, that ain't worth a damn if you don't have any customers. So my saying, my thinking, and it's always been, there's a happy medium to be able to step up. Now y'all know I wouldn't be Ray Ray if I didn't touch on a video. You got to market in your lawn care business. I don't know what his infatuation is with marketing. It seems like they do more marketing than work. I mean, always talking about marketing, but not talking about the work, the actual, getting the money and all that. And what are you doing with the money? He did a video, talking about if you make $10,000 a month, then, 20% should go toward marketing. That's a lie. If you do that, if you're doing that, now there's so many ways I could approach that statement. There's no way I'm going to do $10,000 in a month and give 2 of it back to Google, Facebook, or whoever. I'm not going to do that. I think that's bad business. And I went in his comments and I left a comment, and I don't know if I'm blocked or not. I might be blocked, but I don't care. He'll get to see it. And he hasn't responded, because I asked myself, okay, and he's doing videos, and you got to market. And I'm looking at, okay, marketing right now for lawn maintenance work I don't think that's a good idea. And if you're stuck in a contract with a marketing firm or whatever, where you're paying, $1,500 a month, well, you got to work harder. And when you're working harder, a lot of times you're not working smarter. If I do 10 grand a month, there ain't no way that I'm going to give 2 grand of it to marketing. Because I mean, I'm trying to get my thoughts together as I'm seeing people doing crazy shit. I don't know, man. I don't agree with that. And I'm not saying I'm right, he's wrong. But I just find it, I don't know, just odd as hell that somebody that just started their business, in this game, and all they talk about is marketing. That's all they talk about. I mean, and a lot of people in business, or especially some people that are in business, they like to talk about all that and then they like to talk about all that, but they ain't about all that. I don't know. If you spend all your time marketing, when are you doing the work? And it just seems like, to me, a lot of these people on YouTube, and you don't never hear of, well, I couldn't imagine spending 20% of my money that I make out here on marketing. I just couldn't imagine that. That is unacceptable to me. Now, if you're trying to be a bigger business than I am, which wouldn't take much, right? We know that I'm just a small timer, and I'm okay with that. My numbers are great. But say you're marketing, you're going into November and you're just marketing like hell for lawn maintenance. I don't know much work you're getting from that or whatever, I wouldn't imagine much, because you and everybody else is low on work because of the time of year it is. Well, it's even more reason to market. Yeah, it might be more reason to market, but it ain't more reason to keep spending money on it. Because every time, you know, if I spend $2,000 a month marketing on lawn maintenance, that means I got to get, you know, 12 to 15 customers to cover the marketing. I mean, I'm not reaching off into no bank account, pulling $2,000 out and giving it to Google and Facebook and whoever else when I going into the winter. There ain't no damn way. I mean, it's just, to me, it just reeks of inexperience to be thinking like that. But a lot of times people just put content out just because they want to put content out, and that's all that that's all that they know how to talk about. Anybody can throw money at marketing. It's not rocket science. You know, it's throw money at it. You know, it ain't like, you know, you're having to do a lot. But what happens if you're a guy like him, and he's marketing, and I drop it, and say I drop 20 properties in his lap tomorrow? What's he gonna do? Say he's marketing and he gets, we'll just say on a really high side, best possible scenario, say he gets 60 calls, right? And out of those 60 calls, he goes and looks at 50 of them, we'll say, right? And quotes. Now, all this takes time. This is all time. That you're not getting no money. Minus you're already come out to $2,000 too. Now you haven't gotten the work yet. You're out $2,000. You're having to screen all these calls, and this is best case scenario. And you got one lawnmower, one truck, one trailer, and sketchy help. Okay, I mean, I don't know what his help situation is, but if it's like anybody else, it's just sketchy help. Eliminate 10 of them right off the top. Now you're at 50. Out of those 50, after you talk to them for a minute, you realize, oh, they're too far away. They're not going to be for me. I don't have the equipment for that. Blah blah blah. So now you done spent time to eliminate maybe 15 more, right? So now you're at 35. You're going to quote, right? So out of those 35 that you quote, best case scenario, now that takes time too, that you're not making nothing. Keep in mind, you done went backwards $2,000, and then you go look at 30, and then you end up getting on a very, very best case scenario. I mean, this is not even, it's better than the best case scenario. You end up getting 25, we'll say. Now, what would he do? He's got 25 lawns added on to what he's already doing right now. He's not ready for that. Well, Ray, he can go buy another lawnmower. I get that. Yeah, you can. But there ain't no way if I'm 1 year, not even 1 year in this business, that I'm going to go buy a damn, a $13,000, $15,000 lawnmower in November. I wouldn't do it. That's just me. I like to build a business with a great foundation. And, he did update his trailer good for him. Well, that was mandatory. I mean, you know, so, and he will, I'm sure, get another lawnmower. That would be mandatory, right? He's more equipped for it now than he was last year when he started. But he was, you know, selling everybody and telling everybody that Christmas lights is what he does, but I haven't seen a lot of Christmas light work. I mean, well, it ain't Christmas time, Ray. Right, exactly what I was saying back in June when you were talking about doing Christmas lights in October. You know, I mean, I know there's money in Christmas lights, but I haven't seen him, you know, get a lot of Christmas light money. Well, Ray, maybe he ain't videoing all that. I get that, and that's a good possibility, but somebody built like him, if he's making money doing Christmas lights, you better believe he's going to be showing it on YouTube. Just so he can say, I told you so, I told you so. Instead, he don't do nothing, and that's so can't nobody else tell him, I told you it wasn't like that. And maybe he will make a lot of money in the Christmas lights. But the kind of money he was talking about making is like game-changing money, where he can make $5,000 in one day. You know, I got big equipment and stuff, and I can't seem to make $5,000 in one day. I mean, I don't know what kind of people are paying $5,000 to do Christmas lights, but I'm sure they're out there, you know. Seems to me, the marketing points that he needs to be talking about, where he's talking about marketing for your lawn business, you need to be marketing for Christmas lights. That would have sounded like to me at this moment. I mean, yeah, of course, you know, every now and then a squirrel will get a damn nut. I mean, you might, last year or year 2 years ago or whatever, he might have did a couple of you know, Christmas light jobs that paid really, really good. But it ain't the norm for him. Not that I've seen. I can't say it ain't the norm. I haven't seen that. And then you got these don't show nothing people. That's what I call them. That's the new nickname for the people that are, well, it was only one dude in his comments that's pumping him up, and he is the king of don't show nothing, all talk, the king of that shit. You know who you is. Don't show nothing. Quick to come on my videos and tell everybody I ain't in business and I ain't doing this and I'll be out of business in a year and blah, 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 blah. But he ain't quick to come in the comments now where I'm still in business, still growing, still evolving, still talking smack. Nothing's changed except for I'm making more money. And I'm not doing any marketing. I can tell you guys right now, right off the top, that the whole time I've been in business, all the years added together since 2008, I have not spent $2,000 the whole time combined. Well, Ray, maybe that's why you're not a big outfit. I mean, you could be right. I probably are right, I guess. But a big outfit is not a profitable outfit all the time. My profits are probably as high as a lot of people's that are a lot bigger outfit than me. I'm talking about the money that I can keep and reinvest and all that. Oh, you full of shit, Ray. No, probably not. Because if you got 3 trucks and 10 guys, you got 13 headaches. That's what you got. And yeah, you might make really good money, but I've learned by the time you trickle all that down to the last compound, you're not making much more than a guy like me. Now, will you eventually make a lot more money? If you can stay in business, you probably will. But you're not going to have the control that I have. Because you're going to be mandated to take on jobs that ain't as profitable because you got to make payroll. And I'm not down on the guys that have aspirations and dreams to be a big outfit. I'm just pointing out that the big outfits are not always profitable, and the big outfits are the ones that go out of business quick because they have to pay out so much. It costs so much, and then you're relying on employees. And employees, you can have good ones and bad ones, don't get me wrong, but you're relying on them not to screw nothing up, too. Wreck your truck, total a lawnmower, all the things that really cost money, and then, on one side, and then the efficiency on the other side, and they're stopping at the store between every job, and, they're running your truck ragged, and they always want more money. So if you get bigger than, say, more than 3 guys, if you hire more than 3 guys, you start stepping into another pile of doo-doo that is so unpredictable that I don't want to step into it. And you're stepping in it barefooted because there's so many things that can go wrong out here. And if I market, put my back on the wall and I'm marketing hard, I'm not saying don't market at all, but $2,000 on 10? Hell no, man. Come on, man. That sounds ludicrous to me. And maybe I'm just me. Maybe I just don't. Maybe I just don't know what I don't know. I can accept that. But there's a few things that I do know. Employees are unpredictable and unreliable and expensive. I know that. Equipment and overhead, and if you don't know what you're doing, is super expensive. If you can't fix nothing, expensive. Everything. And then it becomes what? About quality of life, right? How much time do you want to spend working so you can have employees? Because when at the end of they do a $5,000 job in one day. Well, it'd take me 2.5 to 3 days to do that $5,000 job. They make it in one day, but then they got to go find work somewhere else to accommodate the 5 employees or whatever, 6 employees, and all the equipment it takes. Because a lot of business owners and stuff, they come from a place of doing the work, right? They're not financial guys where they make the best decisions financially. Most of the time, they make the worst decisions financially. Next thing you know, they got 10 grand a month going out in payments on equipment and stuff. And if you grow too fast, that's what ends up happening. if you grow too fast without gaining any knowledge along the way, and you market, and all of a sudden you fall into a you do hardcore marketing, and you fall into a spot where you all of a sudden need 8 guys out here, and you need 3 more trucks to deliver on all your marketing promises. Now you got to go in debt. Well, then the market might go down a little bit, and what do you do then? The easiest thing to do that you can get out of the easiest is to let employees go. That's the easiest thing to do. Okay, now you let employees go. So now you got 4 trucks, 6 lawnmowers, 5 trailers, 2 dump trailers, and you ain't got no work, and you're making payments on everything. Why is that, Ray? Because you jumped out there too fast, and you didn't let your money catch up with what you can do. You got to step up to build the foundation for a solid business, even in bad times, because bad times are coming. I mean, it never, and that's why I've always been, we'll say it, scared to get too big, because I know the financial repercussions of that can be overwhelming. I mean, you see it all the time. Mike Andy shows it all the time on his turnaround videos that he does all the time, where they're busy, got all this equipment that he's making payments on. Now, there's the difference if you're making payments on. Well, Ray, you got all that equipment. You got all that equipment too, Ray, and you don't run it every day. Yeah, but most of it's paid for. Yeah, we're not talking about $10,000 a month going out in payment on equipment. We're talking about $1,500. On a business that can easily generate 20 grand a month, easily. Y'all seen me generate 20 grand with the skid steer in less than a month, just with the freaking one little thing that I did, that I paid cash for, up front, where there ain't no payment. You got that skid steer, you got to pay, okay, $730 a month, and that includes the insurance. What else you got, Ray? Well, I got a mower. The mower that I'm going to pick up is still under warranty. I don't even know what I owe on it. I want to say about $3 grand. What else you got? Well, I got this truck payment, but this truck's almost paid for too, by the way. But I'd have a truck payment no matter what. I mean, you got to have a vehicle no matter what. I pay cash for the new trailer that I got. I pay cash for all the trailers that I got, actually. I don't make a payment on no trailers. The man lives paid for. All the mowers are paid for except for the one I'm going to pick up right now. And of course, all the weed eaters, blowers, and all the little stuff's paid for. The cutter heads that I bought for the skid, all that's paid for. All the attachments I got are paid for. And I probably got $100,000 worth of attachments. And I'm not anybody big. I'm not a big outfit, but I don't have to worry about making $4,000 a month, $6,000 a month payments on payroll, and then another $5,000 or $6,000 a month payments on equipment. I never got there, and that's okay. I once had dreams and aspirations of being a big outfit or bigger outfit. And if I ever found somebody that could help me run shit, then I would do that. But you can't count on that. And I've never marketed to do that because I never had the right labor to be able to do it, and it makes sense to me. It's got to make sense to me. But I just want to throw that out there. This market, all this marketing talk, it just seems like, you know, you got all these guys, that's all they talk about is marketing, 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 marketing. But they're not talking about what are they doing with the money that they're getting, that they're making now? Are they not making nothing? Well, I guess it's hard to make anything if you are spending all your money on marketing. I mean, I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. I know my mower's in here. But anyway, I got to go up here to the parts department too and get one of those shock absorbers. But anyway, let me end this. I'm bad about that. So that's kind of, you know, I just wanted to do a clip. It's not dogging nobody out. I'm happy that people are hungry to be bigger, you know, but their method of doing things, from my point of view, which is nothing special, except for I got a lot of experience out here. I don't know how people can justify spending the kind of money on marketing that I see or hear, or, you know, people talk about spending. You know, I'd rather buy equipment. See, pay cash for it where I don't have no payments, and then use my hustling ability to put that equipment in a scenario to make money, to win. I said win, and I have to and get all my money back in the bank with no interest, and then do it again. But if I'm steady dishing out $2,000 a month minimum, then and there's not a promise. That's exactly what happened to my guy down the street from me. He'd been dependent on Angie's List, and it was all good for a while until Angie's List didn't have any work for him, or he quit getting the quotes. He quit getting the jobs because of whatever reason. And now he's desperate to make the payments that he built up. It's all good when you're making money. And it's all good when you don't have a lot of payments. But when you start having, you know, $1,000 a month payments on this and that, and you're not earning with any of it, you got a man lift, you got skid steer, you got all those attachments, you ain't making no money with none of that stuff. But you're wrong. I am. I don't have to run things every day because I don't have a crew of 5 to pay. I don't have 4 trucks to pay for. I don't have big box trucks. I don't have anything to pay for. Running a business and being in business for yourself is not just about what you make. It has a whole lot to do with what you don't have to pay for. To where you can take the money that you're making and not be mandated to make a payment on this and a payment on that and a payment on that and a payment on that. Now you're really not running nothing. The decisions that you made to get wherever you're at is running shit. Because now if you have a slow month, you can go belly up in 6 months. You can't take the money that you're making and turn it into more money. Cash. Because you got to make all these payments that you signed up for when things were really good. Things have been really good for me in the past, and things have been really bad for me. But one thing about me, and I'm not saying I'm right, one thing about me is that the mentality is like this. It's never too high. It's never too low. The finances are like this. Never too high, never too low. I never have a deficit at the end of the month. Never, ever. And I think that these are the things that you need to know about and learn about before you go to spending a bunch of money on marketing. But you could take that money and do something a lot more productive with it. Because you don't know how much work you're going to get. You have no idea. You could get no work. Or you could get overwhelmed with work and not be able to keep up. Now you're burning bridges. I mean, a little bit of marketing, get the customers, step up. A little more marketing, get the customers, buy a little piece of equipment, step up. Same thing, same thing. Repeat, 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 repeat. Do a little bit of marketing, get a couple more customers, hire somebody, you know. But now, when I say a little bit of money on marketing, it ain't even close to $2,000 a month. It's going to be more like $100 a month. What kind of marketing are you going to do for $100 a month? Number one, I'm not doing door hangers. I don't think door hangers are that great of a marketing tool in today's day and age. So, I mean, I've done door hangers in the very beginning, and I might have done 1,000 of them, and I bet you I didn't get 3 customers. And that was before the internet was so wide open like it is now. I mean, but I guess you can get caught up in that. Well, you can get caught up in, well, you got to market to get more customers because you got to pay everybody that you got on staff. See, there's a happy medium that a lot of guys don't talk about. They don't talk about the medium, the in the middle. They're you know, $2,000 a month marketing, and they think that's a good deal. But they're not even getting $2,000 worth of work out of the $2,000 a month marketing. Their acquisition cost for a customer, I mean, could be upwards of $500 or $600. And then you're not guaranteed anything. Because if you don't know what you're doing, then, you know, or somebody else comes along that ain't paying for all that, and they undercut you, you're going to lose the customer. What it costs to get the customer is relevant. And again, if you're spending that much money on marketing, you better get the customer. But you're not really in control of nothing because you got to pay out so much. I'd rather take that $2,000 a month or whatever and make myself more versatile where I could do more stuff. But anyway, I got to go in here and get this mower. I just wanted to throw that out there. I know it's a little bit of a long rant, not a rant, but you know, it's just my take on these hardcore marketers. And I'm not saying don't market, but don't get too hung up on that shit, man. Get hung up on learning the work. Get hung up on doing a good job and learning what people are willing to pay for, so you can get good word of mouth and buy good equipment. All that marketing ain't worth a damn if you don't know how to do the work, because then you're just going to you'll get a job that people see that you don't know what you're doing and you don't have the equipment to do whatever you are doing, and then you'll do their lawn 1 time, 2 times, and then you're not doing it no more, because a guy like Ray that ain't got all that overhead going to come in there and stole that customer from you. And he wasn't even trying to steal the customer from you. The customer's reaching out, trying to find somebody that, it's got more experience, more equipment, that's more accountable, reliable, and all that. That is a proven track record. And I understand people got to get to the point where they can prove a track record. But all that money on marketing, I guess one of the things that I hadn't really said nothing about is you got to be patient too. This ain't like playing a lottery where, you know, you hit and then that's it. This is a repetitive business to where you can grow and just do what you say and spend a little bit of money on marketing. But as soon as I see that I don't have to do that, I'm not doing that either. I like that word of mouth. That's what I like. And if you're the number one guy on Google, nothing wrong with that. If you're the number one lawn landscape guy on Google, I would imagine you'd have to have well, your price is going to have to be competitive. I imagine you have to have a lot of hustle ability to maintain that. And then you got to ask you, are you making money at it? Is being the number one person on Google, what benefits is that? Because you can tell people you're the number one on Google. What does that do? Because if that is sending you all over being inefficient, then is it really? I mean, I don't know. And there's a lot that I don't know about the new age of marketing and all that. So, but I know this: marketing ain't worth a damn if you can't do the work. And if you can do the work, that ain't worth a damn if you don't have any customers. So my thinking, and it's always been, there's a happy medium to be able to step up to where you can, build a solid foundation business where in the worst of times you're good, and in the best of times you're great. But you always got to fall back on the worst of times, because they're coming. They always are. Where you ain't got no labor, you ain't got no help, when your guys are whatever, you always got to, I always go into things thinking, okay, you want to think the best possible scenario, but the reality is it's probably not going to be the best possible scenario. It's going to be somewhere in the middle of the best possible scenario and the worst possible scenario. But you got to be able to overcome the worst possible scenario too. That's just my take, y'all. Deuces.